It's 12:59 and 55 seconds, which can only mean it's time for Nightdrive. Good evening or good morning to those of you who are early risers or enjoy their radio technically correct. I'm Horace Wexler. You're listening to Nightdrive, Fakahatchee's #1 radio show in its time slot, and we're blasting out across the mangrove swamps. How are you, Fakahatchee? You're looking good tonight. Dressed up like that, I hope someone's showing you a real nice time, and if they're not, well, you just tell them to talk to me, Horace Wexler, at 305-209-9686. This is Nightdrive. Now, I don't know what you did today, but this afternoon I was out on my skiff, drinking rum, doing a little bone fishing as the sun went down, as a man is wont to do sometimes. Now, that's no euphemism for masturbation. The bonefish is one of the most sporting of fish, but just me with a line in the water while that great fireball sunk into that big soggy puddle of an ocean. But tonight was unusual. Because as the sun went down, there was an unearthly fog that blew across the land, and it didn't take long for me to be totally obscured by this bank of fog. And that's when I saw the mast of a great ship. Now, it's bad enough being in a rickety skiff out on the salt flats, and twice as bad to do so in a tremendous fog, but to see the mast of a tall ship headed straight toward you, well, that could only be 3 times worse than the original thing that I was telling you about. But this ship comes looming out of the fog, and these are the salt flats, mind you. They're not very deep, so I'm thinking to myself, how is this ship even sailing in these waters? And it's not swerving. It's coming straight toward me and getting closer and closer, and I'm pulling the cord on my trolling motor, trying to move anywhere but here, and it's sputtering and choking and pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, and this huge ship, I can see it now, this huge ship is getting closer and closer and closer, and finally, just when it seems its bow is going to smash my small craft into shards, it narrowly misses me. And on the deck, I see this man waving at me. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty good at knowing a person's ethnicity, and I'll swear to my dying breath that that man was Dutch. Now, was it the Flying Dutchman, the famous ghost ship of lore, or the product of a hot sun and a bottle of off-brand rum? We'll never truly know. But I do know, thanks to legislation signed by Fakahatchee's Mayor Luis Vaminos, I will never have to be afraid like that again. Here's his press conference outside City Hall today, just in case you missed it.
Hola, and thank you for coming here today. It is my pleasure as Mayor of Fakahatchee to be signing such an historic agreement. That is an agreement of us as a people for making sure that this town is inhospitable to the ghosts. You are no welcome anymore, poltergeists, or the spirits, or any of the other ghostly phantasms that may exist. We say, no, you're not welcome, and all you phantasms, you can go, and you can go somewhere else. You can go north, you can go south, you can go down to Cuba. If that is where you want to go, they will be very frightened of you down in Cuba. That's just how it is. But we, in Fakahatchee, we say no more ghosts for now. I mean, maybe we change later on, maybe there are both, and we want all of you to come back. We're like, come back, ghosts. We miss you. We miss you so much. You are our family. And the phantasms, spirits, you are not welcome here. You are no more. If we see you here, we will dismiss you, we will bar you, we will destroy your phantasmical energies, and we will say, no more ghosts. That is what I say to you. That was my promise when I was elected mayor, and I have fulfilled the promise of the people who have elected me, and I hope that you will see that I'm doing my job, and I'm doing it for you. I love this city. I love Florida. Ghosts, be gone. That is the word. Thank you so much for coming.
So no more ghosts here in our humble town. How's that got you feeling, Fakahatchee? Are you already pining for the chain-rattling serenade by the specter of your lost love? Or are you throwing up a middle finger and a goodbye salute to a prankster ghost that won't stop opening all your cabinet doors? Or something even more sinister? I want to know. Call me right now at 305-209-9686. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, man, first-time caller, long-time listener.
Oh,
This is
thanks for
Jan.
calling. What is that, Jam?
Jan. It's in January.
Jan.
Yeah, like the Brady Bunch.
Got
Sorry
it.
for Dick.
Well, Jan, how are you feeling about this this outlawing of all poltergeists and specters, courtesy of our Mayor Luis Vaminos?
Look, man, I'm not one for politics, but I got to agree with the mayor. Look, I don't want to get controversial here,
Mm-hmm.
but these ghosts are ruining my business. Now, look, I'm an artist, but I tend to work at, the scary parks, the frat fest, the haunted houses, if you will.
Got it.
And,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an artist with frights, and now that these poltergeists have come in, these ghosts, people don't even need to come to my place for frights. They just go to their houses because their own houses are haunted. Like, why do you need to go to a haunted house for some good time fun when your own house is like a house full of chills and thrills? Don't make no sense. It is literally taking money out of my pocket.
Got it. So this is a great thing for you
Oh,
financially.
it's hitting me where it hurts. Now, granted, I'm an artist, but to pay the tax man,
Mm-hmm.
I got to work at the haunted house. But no one's coming. It's been dry as a bone in October. I mean, if you can believe it.
So,
October was our worst month. How's that for irony?
well, that is really unfortunate. So this next October, you're expecting it to be what, gangbusters, like a real haunt-baree? That's a jamboree and a haunt smashed into one.
No, I know, man. I'm in the biz. You don't have to tell me twice. No, look, I don't know, man. Because now that people have had the real deal, why would you go back for the fake stuff? Once you've ridden H, why would you go back to normal life? Now, that was back in the old times. But, I mean, I'm off the H. I'm fine.
Well, that's good to hear, Jan.
Well,
Jan,
yeah,
sorry.
I got no qualms with the ghosts. Ghosts are ghosts. But when you're affecting my pocket and my livelihood, then that's when I got to take a stand. At least apply for a job.
Absolutely.
At least go through the proper channels. Hell, like, they're great at frightened, but like, let's make some money off it. Why give it away for free? That just don't make no sense to me.
Yeah. Now, Jan, and you said that some people may not want to go back to essentially your fakery, as it were. Are you doing anything this year to sort of up your game to sort of compete with the real thing, as it were?
Yeah, well, so this was my idea that I ran through Old Man McCullers, who's the proprietor of our fright store. Instead of scaring people, because people are plenty scared now, we're gonna surprise them with cheers and like fun times. Now you walk through our haunted house of horrors, but then we're gonna surprise you with a birthday cake, right? Or don't knock on that door. Oh, it's a clown here to give you a present. Or knock on that window. It's Santa Claus with a hug.
I had a surprise party last year, and it was the scariest thing I've ever walked into.
Well, okay. Well, look, no, we're not trying to scare you. We're trying to bring cheer and mirth to the hearts of young.
Okay.
I mean, but we're counter programming. Now everyone's scared and haunted by these damn poltergeists. Now, we're gonna do the opposite. We got to go where the business goes. People are scared.
Now, how do you compete with sort of those specters that take a clownish form? Are those rare enough that you can avoid and essentially play in the same space?
You got to be goddamn kidding me. Are there clown poltergeists now?
I believe there's at least one or two.
Jesus Christmas. Wow. I didn't let bygones be bygones, but I think we might need to take it to the next level if they're going to just keep stealing our money, stealing from, like, my pocketbook. God damn, clown poltergeist? What are you going to think of next? Small child haunted poltergeist?
Yes, they have those too, actually.
God damn it!
Jan, you were talking about taking this to the next level. What do you think is the next level of this for the mayor? Like, he's already outlawed. Are you talking punitive measures? Are you talking, like, some sort of gate or...
Well, look, I'm not religious, but I've been reading this book on spells.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can send them back to their nether realm from whence they came. But I'm not the guy to do it. I have a love-hate relationship with Jesus Christ. So I don't think I'm the sorcerer to send them back. I think they need someone pure of heart to push these specters to their final resting place. And I think that's where we have to go. They're attacking us, fright proprietors. But what are they going to do now? Movies, music. They're going to take that.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
Literature.
I mean, it would be way scarier to see a ghost in person than to go see a ghost on the silver screen.
Like I've always said, haunted houses are gateway amusements. Once you get hooked on that, you're going to get into other types of entertainment. And if they're taking that away, or if they're co-opting that, there's no telling what they can do. Sports? You want a goddamn Dracula throwing footballs?
Well, now a Dracula, in all fairness, is different.
Okay.
While the Dracula is undead, Dracula is not a true poltergeist.
Sorry, I'm not.
Well,
but you know what?
Look, it's this show is not politically correct, but I just want to state for the record, just so that you're clear, that Draculas are still allowed in town.
Years ago, this guy bit me in an alleyway. Tell me if that's not a specter or is it?
Well, Jan, knowing your history, I would say that is probably not a Dracula. I think that was probably Alleyway Steve.
Oh, man. That piece of shit. You got to get rid of him, too. You got to get rid of him.
Well, he's a Fakahatchee treasure. Everyone loves Alleyway Steve until Alleyway Steve leaps out of the trash can and bites them. It's just how it is.
We drove away most of the, homeless people. Why can't we get rid of the ghosts? Homeless people are just ghosts without legs.
I guess I never thought about it like that, Jan.
Yeah. They don't have jobs. They're always asking for quarters. They're sticky. This all comes down to Kennedy, if you ask me.
Well, I'm sure Kennedy's ghost is roaming out there somewhere as we speak, but not here in Fakahatchee.
Oh, no, that is where you are wrong, my friend. Because he is looking at the spooky mirror all the time, scaring children left and right. Not one child will come up to the spooky mirror. You know the spooky mirror? The one that makes your body look deformed?
Yeah, the spooky mirror.
Well, JFK's ghost is hiding there, and he just won't leave people around talking about Clay Shaw.
Wait, are you saying that you've been losing money because JFK's ghost has literally been haunting your fright
among
park?
Others, okay? I'm not trying to advertise it because, wait. Well, let me ask you this. You're a bit more learned than I am. Do you think people would pay to see JFK's ghost? I
think people would absolutely pay to see JFK's ghost. But from the front, not from the back.
All right, but you see him every which way on that. But people would pay money, right?
Yeah, I think people would absolutely pay money. You'd probably get field trips.
Well, hey, everyone. Oh, and then we learned from the President of the United States, former President of the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is great.
Well, now I think you're in a bit of a pickle, Jan, because technically JFK is not legal in this town.
Excuse me?
JFK's ghost would be outlawed in this town.
Well, God damn it. This is just too much government oversight. Why can't we just let people be people? These used to be people. They're not bothering anyone. Certainly not JFK. Am I right? They used to be citizens.
I think you might be on to something, Jan.
They used to be citizens.
They did used to be citizens. Let's see what some of the other members of Fakahatchee think. Jan, thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you again.
Well, hey,
hopefully.
If someone doesn't want to see Wink, JFK's ghost, Wink, don't come to the haunted amusements and more, Wink, on Brad Street, Wink, and Conlin, Wink, Wink.
I think you could have just winked once or twice. Thanks, Jan. We'll talk to you again soon. Before we take any more calls this evening, we'd like to read a few community announcements for Fakahatchee. The Fakahatchee VFW would like to remind you that their initials stand for Veterans of Foreign Wars. By no stretch of the imagination does this extend to Civil War reenactors, no matter how difficult the circumstances of that reenactment. The Fakahatchee VFW. We weren't always white, we've just seen some things that done turned us that way. The local YMCA would like to remind you sign-ups for ball sports are closing soon, so if you like playing with balls, are good with balls, or show a real expertise with balls, come play with us. The Shoney's on Route 10 will remain closed until the disturbance can be identified, cataloged, and removed. Shoney's would like to apologize for inconveniencing your breakfast plans. If you're thinking breakfast, please think Shoney's, just not for a little bit. Caller, you're on the air.
Dude.
All All right, Greg. Well, we're going to take another call. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Horace. This is Fanny McFadden-Bogg. I'm the night manager of the 24-hour Walmart in town.
Oh, yeah, the Walmart. Yeah, and what was your name again?
It's Fanny McFadden-Bogg.
Fanny. It's great to talk to you tonight, Fanny.
Yeah, I'm calling in about this whole ghost situation.
Absolutely.
About, ghosts. Yeah, these ghosts being banned. I just want to say, I think personally it's a threat to public safety.
Oh, really? That the ghosts are now gone, you think that that's a threat?
Yes, absolutely. I just was wondering if I could just share a story from earlier in my night that just makes it so clear that ghosts are vital in our town.
Oh, please do, Fanny. Maybe the mayor will rethink his outlawing of all specters and poltergeists.
Gosh, I hope so, because he is behaving just like a rattlesnake looking in the mirror for the first time, like sticking his fangs out, and he's going to strike, and he's not even thinking of any of the repercussions of his actions.
Absolutely. So what are some of those repercussions?
Okay, so earlier tonight I was on my e-cig break because I'm trying to make healthy choices, and I was just looking across the street, and across from the Walmart there's this creepy old hotel. And as I'm just looking at it and thinking my thoughts, it freaking blows up.
Oh my gosh.
Sky high inferno. It was crazy, and we called the police, and they come, and it turns out that it was a friggin' meth lab, and no one knew, this whole time. And my point to the mayor is that, those meth people would never have gone in there into that creepy old hotel if the ghosts were still there, because everyone knew that old hotel was haunted. The ghosts are doing a public service, and I don't like it that they've been banned.
So the ghosts are keeping the riff-raff away from where they shouldn't be.
Exactly. Because if you're afraid of a place because it's clearly haunted, you're not going to go in and start doing all sorts of drugs and stuff.
Absolutely. There is no chance. I mean, can you imagine being high on whatever the kids are getting high on now, and just laying there and just blissful with your pupils all dilated, and suddenly somebody's opening cupboards and there's ectoplasm everywhere? That sounds miserable, Fanny.
Exactly. You would never do that. You would also never set up a drug-making lab. I mean, these are the kind of ghosts, we knew about them. We heard them rattling around every night, and I'd been wondering where they were. And then I see all over the news that the mayor has just banned them, kicked them all out. He was like, "Get you ghosts."
And he put his foot down, and he Mayor Vaminos said Vaminos, essentially.
I know. I mean, he's just wasting a huge resource. It's like when you hit a raccoon and it ain't all the way dead, so you go back because you know the right thing to do is to hit it again, so it dies. And then you take it home to dinner so that nothing goes to waste. That's what he's doing here. He's got a perfectly good police force out there, these ghosts, and he just kicks them all out of town. And then he's wondering, he's going to spend our tax dollars just beefing up the police, and then we've just got meth labs exploding left and right.
Hey, it's a real sad state of affairs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you try looking at that gaping, burning hole from the Walmart. You think that's going to pull customers in, people who want to come in, buy a nice shirt, a little bit of hair dye, a home perm? I can't deal with this drama.
So, Fanny, can you think of any other positive reasons to keep ghosts around?
Gosh, I have to say that honestly, I would feel safer, personally, with ghosts around. It's kind of like having a security guard.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe not as lonely. I think, for the elderly, it might be nice just to have ghosts around so that they just have that sense of peace that someone is there. If something happened, it just sucks sitting around and feeling that you're alone. And just think of all those people who were talking to ghosts all day, every day, and now they're just gone. It's like the death of a child.
Yeah, that's wow. You really put a dart right in the bullseye of the issue there, Fanny.
Mm-hmm.
Way to really bring it home. We've had a bunch of other callers talking about how it's affected their livelihood, but what about these elderly people? that no longer have their ghostly acquaintances, their long lost loves, their old war buddies, floating
Mm-hmm.
around and banging on pots.
Yeah, people don't realize that this is a humanitarian issue. I mean, I'm just concerned that all these old people, I mean, they're going to have nothing to live for anymore, you know? Their quality of life is just going to tank. And the mayor's just not even thinking of that. And you know what? I have to say, I had a lot of fun with the ghosts. Like, I go to visit my granny and my grandpappy, you know, he was appearing here and there every once in a while. And, you know, we would sing songs and just listen to our favorite stories. And, you know, he's gone now. So what the heck?
Yeah, that's tearing families apart. Even more so than shuffling off this mortal coil.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. And clearly, if they're a ghost, you know, think of these ghosts. If you're here and you're trapped on Earth as a ghost, obviously you're trying to work some things out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to come back as a ghost if you're at peace. So if you ban them from town, what if those ghosts never get to meet up with the people they need to make peace with or do the things that they need to do to move on to heaven? I mean, now it's a religious issue now that you mention it.
Well, and that starts to get into that sticky place of church and state. So maybe there is no right answer on this, Fanny.
Oh, I think the answer is clear. The mayor, he wants to have a foot on the face of the state and a foot on the face of the church. But what he needs to know is we're putting together a petition, and we're going to come after him. It's called People for Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
People can visit my site, peopleforghosts.com, and fill out the petition. And, you know, I could see this going all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I don't know that anything like that has ever been brought before the Supreme Court before. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but I would love to see how that court case turns out.
Sure. I mean, I've been researching court cases on Google, and, you know, I'm not finding anything like it, but I do think, you know, it's a different time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're in the 20,000s or the teens or however you want to put it. I mean, it's time for ghosts to have some rights. People need to get to know the ghosts a little better. Don't you think that's a little discriminatory? Knowing the ghosts are here, but not having any relationships with any ghosts. You don't have any ghost friends. I mean, I do get that some of the ghosts are more of the like howling, screaming, haunting, murdering kind of ghosts. Like I do understand that, but that's, you know, just enough to scare the piss out of you when you're somewhere you know you shouldn't be.
Well, you said it, Fanny. Well, thank you so much for calling in. You've really given us a lot to think about. It's not just a financial issue, as some have said. It really comes right down to the heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is emotional, so think it over. You know, meditate on that or whatever you do, and I think that you will feel the emptiness of the lack of spirits around you.
What a terrific sentiment.
Thank you.
With that, Fanny, I hope we'll hear from you again in the future. You're always welcome to call in. All right, we'll be taking more of your calls, thoughts, and 2 cents right after this advertisement.
I'm Puce Higgins. Who says Florida doesn't have flavorful wines? Was it you cad? You roustabout? Put your snoot in the ground, you pigman. You must not have tried my new Crystal Key West Chardonnay. Everybody is raving about it. The secret is the flavor crystals in the wine. Like wearing a cape in the hot Florida sun, I'm the only one doing it. Listen to how pleased these mouths sound. Don't those whistles sound wetted? My Chardonnay is magnificent for moistening mouths. Just go to your grocer and demand Puce's Crystal Key West Chardonnay.
And we're back. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the mayor banning all sorts of spectral entities from Fakahatchee. This has got people riled up on both sides of the aisle. If you want to weigh in, just dial 305-209-9686, just like our next caller, Freddie. Freddie, you're on the air.
Hey, yeah, I was just listening to your show. I'm driving across Florida, close to Windermere, over on the East Coast, down by Daytona Beach. Kind of really hitting home today what you're talking about, because I've had a self-employed business since the late 60s, driving across the states in a van. And we've been basically solving mysteries for the last 45 odd years.
Independent private investigators.
Yeah, private investigators. Yeah, private investigators, amusement parks, monsters, museums, all these sort of things.
Well, Freddie, how is the mayor's decision to outlaw ghosts affecting your small business?
Basically, it's killing my business, man. I mean, we're going through all of these towns that, 5, 10, 15 years ago were jam-packed, chock full of ghosts, spirits, specters, haunts, gremlins, all sorts of things. And I could go in there, always need permits, a lot of permits, and basically find them. And you know what? The thing, too, also, is that there's a lot of copycats. So even if there wasn't a ghost, there'd be people there masquerading as ghosts to try and, catch a part of the action. And then I would catch them and expose them. So I could take them to the local popo.
Absolutely.
Catching real ghosts. I could turn that into the ectoplasm, the EDA, Ectoplasm Development of America. And if not, I would just catch some criminals and turn them banners. Now, it's become a veritable wasteland out there because there's no ghosts. And as you know, no ghosts, no copycats. So it's just like the 80s glam metal scene. Once the whole thing changes, everyone goes on to the next thing. And now they're all growing pot and their own raisins. I don't know how to do that. I know one thing, which is catching ghosts or ghost fraud. So it's really left me in a real rock and a hard place.
Yeah, essentially the mayor is dried up your small business.
Yeah, if you want to get your 7-second delay ready, and I don't want to be rude here, but the mayor's f***ing up my business.
Whoa, Freddie, let's keep it PG-13, okay?
And I'm sorry for saying that, but I'm really getting mad about this.
Well, this is such a surprising thing from a mayor who has been so supportive of small businesses. It makes me wonder if maybe he hasn't fully considered the full ramifications of this law, and I wonder if he isn't running from fear.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he might be, because ghosts are scary.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you walk in through the hallway in the library, and you see an old lady librarian. She turns around and turns into a demon. It's a pretty scary thing, man. You're going to run away. Nightmares syndrome, post-ghost syndrome.
Yeah.
So listen, I get it. It's scary. But the point is, that's what people like me do. I don't even have enough money to put gas in the mystery machine. Okay? I've been wearing the same kerchief, blue kerchief around my neck.
Oh, did we lose you, Freddie?
Huh?
Oh, I thought we lost you there for a second.
No, I'm here.
Okay, yeah.
I'm driving across the state of Florida trying to find a gig. So if my reception goes a little bit in and out, I'm sorry.
That's how the swamps are. We get it.
No ghosts. I caught an alligator the other day.
Oh, yeah.
That was worth $25. $25. If it was a ghost alligator, $2,500, easy. That's what I'm dealing with.
Look, it might be a real step down for you and your team's skill set, but is there any hope in finding animals, being some sort of pet detective, maybe?
Listen, man, the whole pet detective thing went out in the 90s, all right?
Okay,
that was a big deal for about 3-4 years in the 90s, all right? But you're talking about a business that's been going on since 1969. They've made their shows about us. They made children's cartoons, movies.
It's so sad to see another family-owned and run business essentially being run out of town by a mayor who's writing checks without the consent of his populace.
He's writing checks that his ghostly ass can't cash. And here's the thing, listen. It was great back in the 70s and 80s. I had all the royalties coming in, the cartoon royalties, all right? Then the movie royalties in the 90s. Great. Those have dried up. And I was always able to supplement those royalties with actually going out there and capturing ghosts. Now that I have no leads and no ghosts, they're not making any new cartoons because I got no stories to tell them. So I'm in a real tough place here that after 45 odd years, I mean, I'm 67 years old now. I can't go back to school. Can't go get a job in the bank. I know how to catch ghosts.
Well, Freddie, thank you so much for calling in. I'm sure this is a viewpoint that the mayor will want to consider, and Fakahatchee at large as we move forward into our next election cycle. Thanks for calling in. I hope you call back again in the future.
Listen, I might not be able to call back in the future if I don't find some ghosts. Keep it down, Shaggy. Put that joint down. Damn it. Can't afford it.
Hi, I'm Robard Crumbler, and I want to give your moom a kiss to help her celebrate Mooter's Day. Cook up a nice meal for your baby feeder by bringing home a coned pickle whiffle. It's got that pork flavor your mouth says not to, just $3.66 an ounce. Your nip smuggler trying to lose some weight, she'll plan a sloppy one on you for some crispy green teeth twine, now in regular and extra flavorless, just $2.22 a graboid. The Mexicans have something they call zabor, so treat your mama cedar to a bag of chuch hombres with honey mustard diddles. Now just 99 cents. Doesn't have to be Mooter's Day for great prices. You can always save on returned items like open shell eggs, just $3 a scoople. Crumbler Farms, we're the only grocery store with an adjacent airport. This is Horace Wexler. You're listening to Nightdrive. Had to rethink what the show's name was there for a second. It is really early in the morning, and we're talking about the mayor banning ghosts from Fakahatchee. If you want to weigh in, just dial 305-209-9686. Here's another caller right here. Sir, you're on the air.
Horace, this is Taylor, Billy Taylor.
Hi, Taylor,
PA
Billy
director.
Taylor.
How you doing?
I'm good. You're with who?
I'm with the EPA.
The EPA.
Fakahatchee County. I'm the director.
Right. That stands for environmental.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that stands for the Environmental Protection Agency, and I guess I'm calling because, Horace, there's all the ghost hunters. They keep going around, and I just got to tell you, we're firmly against any removal of spirits from their natural habitat.
Yeah. So it seems like this goes directly against the mayor's plan to outlaw ghosts and essentially have them removed from the county.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, there is no scientific evidence that ghosts exist. And if I'm being honest with myself and with you, I don't believe in ghosts. But if they do, moving them would be a violation of their civil rights.
Got it.
Okay, we have to protect both the living and the post-living.
So essentially, life continues after death, the afterlife.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's why it's called the afterlife. I mean, Horace, if you think about it, there are more dead Americans than living Americans. And since we live in a majority rule system, we have to be respectful of the wishes of the dead Americans, if they exist as ghosts, which I personally do not believe in, but, man, what do I know?
Well, Billy Taylor, what do you propose? Is there any sort of compromise between your position with the EPA and Mayor Luis Vaminos' position with all the ghosts gotta go?
I got to tell you, I mean, I know I should have a plan, and I am all ears right now because I got people, in this county who think that Scooby-Doo is a documentary, okay? I mean, and then I got people like myself who don't believe in ghosts because it's absolutely ridiculous. But, I mean, let's say they do exist. I mean, it's just, this whole thing reminds me of like desegregation, but instead of like black versus white, it's like black and white versus translucent white. And, I just say hands off the ghost hunting. Just let them be, okay? What's the worst that can happen if they do indeed exist? They're just going to rattle some chains, which I never really got that. Why ghost rattle chains? It just seems like a lot of work,
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird because most people aren't near chains, so the fact that a ghost would have chains would imply some sort of tenuous connection to their previous life.
Yeah, like if they're a chain salesman. I mean, I could see them having chains if they lived in a colder climate and they had to put chains on their tires, but I mean, here you think the ghost would just be sitting in your patio furniture.
Yeah, just moaning while waving pink lawn flamingos around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why the mayor is so concerned with ghosts when we can't afford teachers and there's a urine smell everywhere. Have you smelled it?
Fakahatchee smells terrible.
Awful. I mean, it just smells like a rotting battery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little slice of paradise, but hold your nose twice.
Exactly. I got to tell you, sometimes I wish I was a ghost because I don't think that they have the ability to smell if they exist, which I don't think they do.
Taylor, Bobby Taylor, if the mayor were here on
You
this
can call
call,
me TBT if you want.
all right, TBT, if the mayor were here on this call right now, what would you say to him or his, is it fair to say cronies?
Yeah,
What would you say to him and his cronies?
I would say, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Cronies, you guys need to pump the brakes and slow your roll on the whole ghost get out of here, initiative, and just realize that ghosts are people. Ghosts were people too at one point. If they were, yeah, that's what I would say.
Got it.
And I stand by that.
I'm glad.
I'm glad too, actually. I am glad. Thank you.
So, TBT, are you a government-sanctioned body? Like, is this going to come down to a state's rights or a city rights issue where Fakahatchee is demanding that they have the right to essentially kick all these ghosts out of town, but the rest of the U.S. and maybe the state of Florida is saying, no, you can't do that. You have to let the ghosts stay there. You have to integrate.
Yeah, technically the EPA of county, that's actually a volunteer-run organization where I'm actually the only volunteer. It's not recognized, by, quote, the government, because EPA is actually a state organization, but I took it upon myself to start this county organization because I felt like the citizens of the county deserve this kind of attention. And while I have no legal, quote, legality, end quote, to enforcing the sanctions that I personally have put in place, I do have a lot of signs and time. So the mayor is going to get some of that.
Well, that's great. I love to hear about citizens putting democracy in action, really getting the word out. I don't even care what the word is a lot of the time. I just love to see civil action happening in our city. It shows that people care.
Yeah, it's like a battle royale for ideas.
Yeah, it's like put your idea in the circle, surround it with the car headlights, let the ideas fight with chains, and then one of them becomes a ghost. And
that's right. Maybe. We're, not sure if that does happen. But if it does happen, then hell by high water, they should stay where the heck they are. Hell they are. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for calling, TBT. I hope you'll call back and keep us up to date with all the environmental comes and goings here in Fakahatchee.
As long as the show's not on when Dancing with the Stars is on. You watch that show? I love it. I think it's great.
I've never seen it.
It's awesome.
That's all for us here at Nightdrive this evening. It's a new era here in Fakahatchee, one where our ghosts are gone, but the skeletons in our closet remain. Good Morning Sunbuns with Tiffany Bunzel takes over at 6 a.m. Today, she's talking to an aging doctor who will help you rid yourself of that leather handbag you call a face. So until then, here's 4.5 hours of government-mandated buzzing I'm told has no significant meaning. Until next time, I'm Horace Wexler. Keep night driving. If you enjoy the show, please consider reviewing and giving us 5 stars on iTunes, or better yet, tell a friend about us. 1 a.m. in the morning is a hell of a time slot to try to get new listeners. You can reach the show on Twitter at NightDriveFM or at Facebook.com/NightDriveFM. Nightdrive is produced by Michael Truly and is hosted with aplomb by me, Horace Wexler. The callers were ably played with both Gravitas and Gumption by Hesley Harps, Chris Jericho, Nick Mundy, and Ron Babcock, with special musical guest Jesus Seam and the Split Seat 7. Fakahatchee News is up next on November 30th, and Nightdrive will return with the Trial of the Lobster King on December 15th.